I had the distinct pleasure of being a leader for, well, decades. And often one of the least enjoyed tasks of a leader is giving feedback. Now, I've been thinking about why is this? Perhaps intuitively, we agree with Marcus Buckingham and Ashley Goodall in their book, 9 Lies at Work, is that we're not good at assessing someone else's potential. We're not really very good at assessing someone else's strengths and talents. I mean, who are we to judge someone else? It's judgmental. We might be jaded and perhaps comparison oriented. I wouldn't do it like that. So because I wouldn't do it like that, let me give you my feedback as to how I think you should be doing it. So when we give feedback, we often then don't do it very well as a leader, especially when we have all of this sort of narrative going on in our head. We are emotionally choked. And because of being emotionally choked, I don't want to do this. I don't like doing this. They're not going to like what I have to say about them. We become intellectually choked. So let me explain. I observe a direct report's performance, and I have my notes, and I prepare myself to deliver this great feedback. And then I prepare myself for their response. They might get quiet. Okay, so if they get quiet, I'm going to reiterate my point. Then I'll say that this isn't something that's against them. It's meant to help them, and it's meant to help grow them, that they should really try to listen and receive the feedback in a way that is meant to be helpful, that they don't need to feel badly about it. They're totally a good person. I know that they're trying really hard. Okay, that's what I'll do. Man, I hope they respond that way, because the only other option is they freak out and they disagree with me. Okay, so if they freak out, I'll lighten up a little bit. Or maybe I should hit the gas. Hang on. After all, I'm their boss. They're not mine, right? So if they freak out, if I lighten up and say, it's not that it's bad, your performance. It's it could use a couple of tweaks here and there, and hopefully that'll calm them down a little bit. But if they really put up a fight, what would I say? How will I fix it for them if they get upset with me? What if they throw it in my face that I'm not good at this particular skill? Because truth is, I used to be, but I'm not anymore. Well, that's because I'm the boss. I need to be good at other things now. Forget about it. I'll just give them a 3 out of 5 and tell them that they're doing well. And so, like, man, we're really good fiction writers, right? When we prepare to give something like feedback. And so perhaps the idea and responsibility of giving feedback isn't that bad. Perhaps it is. Okay, how do you move forward? Because I'm here to help us understand what's going on beneath the surface in leadership for things like giving feedback. There's emotional stuff going on beneath the surface, and there's thinking and narrative going on. And we have to be mindful of those two things as leaders to step into feedback in much more successful ways. So first tip, stop thinking yourself crazy. When you give feedback, it's simply an expression of your experience, observing their performance. It's not everything. It's not everyone's experience. Treat it as such. This is what I saw, and this is what I experienced. Second, feedback is a conversation. So this is what I am experiencing. This is what I observed. What did you experience? What did you observe? Yes, of your own performance. Because we are really good at watching our performance and stacking it to our own potential. Did I give it 100%? And I kind of give it 80. That's why it looked like it did. I totally understand your experience. I only showed up at 60% today. Touche for recognizing that. Third, feedback happens all the time. All the time. The reason our back gets up about it is because we're treating it as a judgment of value and worthiness. When we can start to see feedback as information that we get to sift through and decide what we want to do with it, then it becomes emotionally manageable. When we treat feedback as an attack, when we treat feedback as a you must change this about yourself to be more important or valuable, then we will resist the feedback every single time. If we treat it as something to look at, sift through and decide, ooh, that's a good piece. I like that piece of feedback. That's telling me something about myself wasn't really aware of. It's also giving me something that I can work on to improve performance that I'm interested in. And then fourth, you aren't bad. So a manager, if you happen to fail, which means you do a poor job in initiating feedback, it doesn't mean you're bad. It means you've got opportunity to grow this skill. It also probably means you've got opportunity to grow your emotional self-awareness, to pay attention to the emotions that drive how you speak. Feedback isn't about your humanity, and I'm not talking about when people in their humanity behave poorly, because there is a little bit of that goes on. Feedback is about your performance, your actions, your skills. Most of the time, for most of us, there's opportunity to level those things up. So just because you can't do something to your fullest potential yet doesn't make you bad. It means you've got room to level up and room to grow. I mean, we pretty much all do, right?